Hey, okay, so we're officially on YouTube. So I'm loving these goals. Yes, I love it. I love it. Keep putting your goals in the chat. Even if you're like, I don't even know, you can put, my goal is to sell $100. Like, we'll check that off the list and keep going. So tonight, I want to talk about building an overcomer, or yeah, just building an overcomer mindset. So I feel like some people have an overcomer mindset already. And for some of us, it's something that has to be built and something we have to be intentional about. And so I'm just going to, yeah, I'm just going to tell some stories, like some of my examples. And hopefully, this helps you to just like shift your thinking a little bit because this business really is like 90% mindset. It is only about 10% skill because booking skincare sessions or parties, holding parties, that is a skill that you need, but skills are easy to learn. Mindset shifts are a little harder. You have to be a little more intentional about it. It's not something that just happens on its own. It's not something that if you hang out with us long enough, you'll just all of a sudden be more positive. You actually have to make a conscious decision to decide that you are going to think differently. And you have that power. Do you know you have power over your thoughts? You have the power to actually take every thought captive and submit it to Christ. For one, we have that power, but you don't have to let your mindset control you because you can control it. And I want you to walk away from this feeling empowered and excited. So, not like, because I know I've been in so many trainings where I'm like, wow, why have I not thought this way the whole time? And then I just beat myself up and I feel guilt and I feel condemnation. Well, that is not what we're going for here. And condemnation does not come from the Lord, it comes from the enemy. If you feel like maybe you should be doing something different, take it as a conviction and just do it. But don't beat yourself up over whatever you did in the past because that's not the goal here. The goal is not to make you feel bad. So, this is going to be some real talk tonight. And I feel like I say this at a lot of my meetings, but I might step on some toes. So I am very honest. There's a lot of new people on right now. So I'm very honest. I am very to the point. I do not sugarcoat things. So if you are looking for a feel good, happy go lucky training, this is not it. I just probably don't do a whole lot of those. I'm more like, this is how it is. And this is what I've learned. And it's time to put your big girl panties on and just go forward with it, right? So I love you too much to let small thinking keep you stuck. And I've been there, and sometimes I still get there, but the difference with the people at the top are that they move on from that real quickly. Where like some people can sit in their small thinking for weeks or months or years, y'all. So when I get those thoughts, I usually at this point I'm like, oh no, nope. I was just talking to my national last week, and I was like, I was walking through the grocery store. I don't know why this is where the thought happened. And I just, um, I heard the thought, like, I don't think I can do this. It is really hard leading women. But instantly I was like, no, that's stupid. No, I am doing this. Like, that's the enemy right there. That's a lie. And so taking those thoughts and immediately, and Kristen Sharp, the national, she says she just imagines there's like a button on the side of her head and she's like, delete, delete, delete. So don't just let your thoughts run rampant. Let's capture them, throw them away, replace them with truth. So, we're going to talk about what it means to rise above and to stop reacting to life and start leading through it. Because we can live a reactive life, but I can guarantee you, you're not going to reach your goals that way. 100%. Because there's always something that we can react to, y'all. Always. Always. Especially as women. So, honestly, some of y'all absolutely amaze me. Actually, all of y'all amaze me, but some of y'all, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is going through so much. Like, you can be walking through health issues, kids, work, family drama, death, chaos. Like, you you're going through so much, but you still show up, you still smile, you still rise above it, and you're working your business literally through thick and thin. And I find out about these obstacles later. Not in the moment because you don't let them define your week. And that is amazing. That's what I want for everybody because whether we're successful or not in Mary Kay doesn't change the fact that we're going through all the things, all the life, all the chaos. Like, you might as well be going through chaos and be successful because if you're not successful, you're still going to be going through the chaos. And a lot of times, what you can gain from your Mary Kay business can actually alleviate some of the things that are going on, either through happiness, because a lot of what we're going through, like feeling stressed out or anxious or reacting to it, is making us feel worse. And it's just this cycle, right? Of like, I feel bad and then I feel bad. So now I feel worse. You know what I mean? So, being in this pink bubble can help, but also a lot of times the things that we're going through can be helped by money. Money does not fix everything, but it does fix a lot of things. So sometimes, we just have to show up because there are other people that are going through the same thing that we're going through, and they need to see us show up, and they need to know that it's okay for them to show up too. And then meanwhile, there are people who, oh, some people got kicked out. Okay, let's get them back in. There are people who I know about every time your printer runs out of ink, or your cat sneezes on your inventory, or your Wi Fi acts up, or your toddler steals your samples, or your ring light falls over, or your coffee gets cold. And listen, I love you guys, but we have to learn how to lead through life and not wait for perfect conditions because those perfect conditions are not coming. They're not happening, and nobody's coming to save you. We have to be willing to rise above. And honestly, nobody knows half of what happens in my world either. And it's not because I'm hiding it, y'all. I'm not like hiding things. It's just because I choose to live future focused instead of circumstance focused. So problems don't get my power. It doesn't mean I don't have problems. I know it's so easy to look up to the leaders in this business and think, man, if only my life was like hers, I could be there too. Like, if only my circumstances were different, I could be a director. If only I had more of this, that, or the other, I could also drive a free car, or I could actually get my parties to hold. But y'all, those are also lies from the enemy. There have been months that I've led and worked my business through deaths, through postpartum depression, through anxiety, through trauma, through abuse, not in my marriage, but through abuse, through chaos. Y'all, I've taught trainings. I've literally gotten on Zooms with y'all after crying all day. I've done coaching calls where I myself have felt ready to quit. I've done parties where I have been exhausted and didn't feel like it. I've been an emotional wreck. I've driven to events when my tank literally and emotionally have been empty. But I don't say this because I'm like, oh, I'm better than you. I say this because if I had waited for life to calm down before I showed up and worked my business, I'd still be waiting. And I want that for you too. I want you to know that even while life is crazy, you can still do this. You can still be successful. And a lot of it is mindset because y'all, when life is crazy, if you have a 9 to 5, you still go. You don't get to call in and say, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like really emotional today and I just don't want to do it. But how many times are we like, I don't feel like booking today because I'm just not in a good headspace. I'm not going to make my booking calls today. Or I just don't feel like being around people, so I'm not going to go to the meeting today. Y'all, you wouldn't do that at your 9 to 5. So treat this like a business and it will pay you like a business. But tonight is not about hustle. It really is about holy grit. Holy grit is the kind that makes you unshakable no matter what happens throughout your week. So we don't get to control what happens around us. I hate to tell you this, especially if you're somebody that likes to control things like me. I love to control things, but you know what? I've realized I actually control not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. And actually on that topic, I was on another Zoom today because I show up to everything, y'all. If I have the opportunity to be in the space of leaders, I'm there 100%. If I can elevate myself, that I know that's going to help me to lead y'all better and myself better, I'm there. So I was on another Zoom and this NSD was sharing her Ooh, it was a testimony for real. And she was talking about how, she liked to control things. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can relate to that. So I'm listening. And she said, if you want people to change, you cannot tell them what they should be doing. You have to remind them of who they are. So I'm here to remind you of who you are. Who you are is the daughter of the most highest king. That is who you are. You are loved, you are called, you are chosen. You're here for a reason. So we can't control a lot of things. We can't control what other people do. We can't control what other people don't do. We can't control natural disasters. We can't control pandemics. We can't control politics. We can't control a lot of things. But what we always have control over is our response. Always. Always, always, always. I don't care how bad the situation is. It doesn't make that situation smaller, but your response is within your control, 100%. So the truth is, we all face hard things, all of us, but not everybody responds the same. So there's 4 levels of response. So level 1 is the complainer. So the complainer lives in a storm cloud. Every obstacle is a tragedy. So let's say In Touch has a glitch. Oh, she's done. She quits. She's done with Mary Kay. Or her order shipped a day late. Is literally the end of the world. And you know this level when you're around it because you can feel it. The energy is heavy and nothing is ever enough. Even wins get complained about. And so here's the truth. Complaining is just negative goal setting. It's you literally setting negative goals for yourself because the more you talk about what's wrong, the more life gives you proof that you're right. So it's true and it's the law of attraction. It's real. It's also biblical. So if that's you, it's okay. But a lot of times, if that's you, it's because you're staying stuck because you're rehearsing what you should be releasing. And sometimes we just want to hold on to our complaining because it's one thing that we feel like we have control over. But I'm just asking you to release that. Just let it go. Let it go. Sing the song if you have to. Just let it go. And then there's level 2. So level 2 is the fixer. So the fixer acts, they act, but only if someone tells her exactly what to do. Exactly. Like, this is the person that texts and is like, help, my hostess ghosted me, and then doesn't do anything until I tell them exactly what to say. She wants direction more than she wants independence. Now, if you're brand new and you're asking me what to do, that's different. That's totally different. But if you are 100% dependent on me, like if I was to leave Mary Kay today, would this unit continue to move forward? Would you continue to build your business? Or is your business dependent on what I do? Because it shouldn't be. Fixers definitely have potential, but they just haven't learned how to pause and say, okay, what can I do right now? Like, what can I do? And instead of tell me what to do. So I want to build independent leaders and thinkers, people that think for themselves, people that are problem solvers, and that we all have that capability. So level 3 is the overcomer. So the overcomer, now we're getting somewhere. Overcomers face the same junk as everyone else, but they choose faith over feelings. Y'all, feelings are liars a lot of times too. We cannot let our feelings tell us what to do or dictate what we do, especially like in the moment that we're feeling them. Never make a big decision in a valley, ever. Never decide to quit Mary Kay when you aren't feeling good about it. Go get some parties on your books, and then if you want to quit Mary Kay, go ahead, but you won't. That's the thing. So they might cry in their car, they might pray in the shower, and then they might still get on the Zoom and put on a happy face. Um, they are overcoming. And they text me not to vent, but to celebrate. So this would be like, hey, Wendy, my host is canceled, but guess what? I pivoted and I filled that spot with my neighbor. I went and said, hey, let me borrow your face and sold 2 roll-up bags. So that's an overcomer. And I can think of several of y'all that are overcomers, and it's very obvious. And then level 4, that's the leader. So the leaders don't need fewer problems. They just grow bigger than their problems. Because y'all, trust me, I have problems. Lots of problems all the time. It's not like I don't have problems. But the leaders, they solve, they serve, and they strengthen others in the process. So they see a storm, like we have a storm always. They see a storm and they're like, all right, let's grab an umbrella and get these girls inside. They take ownership and move forward. And so I want you to ask yourself tonight, where are you living this week? Are you living as the complainer, the fixer, the overcomer, or the leader? Because the level that you operate from determines the level that you rise to. You're never going to rise beyond the level that you're choosing to live in. So, our pastor actually said something on Sunday that was just really like, and it didn't even hit me so much until like after the fact. Sometimes you're just like in the shower and you just have a thought, or like, you're like, things hit you, right? So, in the Bible, David didn't spend his life writing about Goliath. Did you know that? He's not the one that wrote about Goliath. Other people wrote about David and Goliath. What David wrote about in the Bible was the battles with his flesh, his actual struggles. And his biggest struggle, in his opinion, wasn't with Goliath. It was his daily, it wasn't like that big, huge public struggle. It was the private struggles, the daily, like, inside your house struggles. And that's where most women get stuck. It's not the big dramatic obstacle that stops us. It's in the quiet daily obstacles that stop us. The little things, the discouragement, the distraction, the lies, the scrolling on Facebook, or the little things. Your printer ran out of ink, or your inventory got wet because your car trunk was leaking, or like those little things, right? Those are the things that we have to rise above. So I want to play out a little scenario. And I feel like printer problems can be the worst, right? Those are the things that can literally cause us to go mad and like literally throw it out the window. And I think that's why we see a lot of that in movies, and it's funny, but it just drives you crazy, right? Well, I have a really good printer. I'm very happy with it. So if it's listening, I just want it to know I love it a lot, and I do not want to throw it out the window. And I do highly recommend the Epson Eco Tank. But let's just talk about the ink test. Okay. So you have a party this weekend and you're about to print out your what do they call it? The surveys, right? We need surveys, the surveys that front and back, or your referral sheets or whatever. And your printer runs out of ink. What do you do? I want you to put in the chat, like legit, what do you do? What are you going to do? Because there are so many different ways that you could respond to this. Some of y'all are laughing because you've been that person who panics over printer ink. I've been that person, right? I've 100% been that person where I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But I think for some reason my brain is a pretty good problem solver. So I think I've lived as the fixer a lot. Like, just tell me what to do. I'll be like texting my director, I ran out of ink and I need surveys. What do I do? Okay. I love all these answers. See, you can have so many different answers to the same question. So here's the truth. The truth is the ink is not the problem. The printer is not the problem. It's the interpretation. Some women say, I can't do it. I just won't get referrals at that party. Overcomers say, I'll text it, I'll handwrite it, I'll give them a piece of paper, whatever, we're doing this party. So the difference isn't the ink, it's the instinct. So every time you choose to figure it out instead of freak out, your confidence grows. And that confidence is what attracts customers, leaders, and blessings. It really is. So I love this. Going to get more ink. All right, find my dad's printer. Give them a piece of notebook paper. You're still doing this. Like, we're writing it on. Y'all, I've done that before too. I've run out of clear trays. So instead of freaking out, I was just like, you know what? These little papers are laminated. They won't know. I just squirted the product on the paper. Y'all, they were scooping it off the paper. They didn't know the difference. It is what it is. We figure it out. So figure it out. If I run out of tickets, you know how many parties I've been at where I'm like, I'm asking the hostess, do you have a piece of paper and some scissors? Because I'm cutting up papers to make my own tickets. We are going to figure it out. We are going to make it work, right? And we're going to laugh about it in the meantime. I've definitely ripped up paper for tickets too. Yes. So going to Staples, going to Office Depot, going, and by the way, we get a really good discount at Office Depot and FedEx. So if you don't know about our discounts, ask me about that later. Um, see, look, you and your mom are overcomers. I love it. So, okay, that's just one example. There's so many examples, y'all, of times where we could choose to freak out and turn every ant into a mountain. Um, so that is totally your choice. And I want you to believe that. If you don't believe that, you're going to stay stuck. If you don't believe it's your choice how you respond to obstacles, then even the smallest obstacles are going to stop you. So, we're going to talk about 3 habits of overcomers. Who wants to be an overcomer? Yes, a conqueror, a warrior, right? So, 3 habits of overcomers. So, the first habit is they think, how can I? Not, I can't, right? So, as soon as something comes up, is that there's an obstacle for, right? For example, let's say if I right now said, hey, y'all, everybody here, I have a party tomorrow at 6 p.m. that I can't do. Who can do it? If your first thought is, I can't do it, my bags aren't packed, I don't have clean mirrors, I don't have papers printed out. If that's your first thought, then that's a clear sign that you're not an overcomer. But if your first thought is, oh, I'm going to do it and I'm not ready, but how can I get ready? Then that is a sign, a habit of an overcomer. So obstacles for overcomers reveal creativity. We get creative, right? So if you've got kids, if you've got chaos, if you have no time, guess what? Welcome to the club. Anybody? Yes. So you ask yourself, how can I make this work anyway? Because women who ask better questions get better answers. So here's an example. I was on the way back from somewhere. I can't really remember where I was on the way back from. Oh, I was on the way back from a party. This was like a few years ago. So it wasn't in the middle of COVID, but it kind of was like still, we were doing a lot of virtual. And so I was booking um, in-person parties and Zoom parties with hostesses. And I was on the way back from, I don't know if it was a kickoff party or if it was just no, it wasn't. It was a party for me, actually. That's right. So the party was kind of far away because I was on the interstate. And you know me, I'm really good at finishing parties on time. So I had scheduled this one party and then some hours later, I scheduled a virtual party and I was like, cool, I got this. I just got to be in front of my computer in time for this virtual party, right? No big deal. Y'all, I was definitely on the interstate when it was time for this virtual party. So, did I freak out? No, I didn't. You know what I did? I pulled over. I went to the rest area. I didn't even have what I needed because my Zoom parties were charcoal and sparkle. So I would put the charcoal mask on. I would show them the eye patches. I didn't have none of that, y'all. None of that. So I went to the trunk and I pulled out what I had. I had my demo roll up bag from my party, and then I had some random products that I don't know, like, you carry extra inventory with you when you go to parties. So I had some random stuff. I pulled out my roll up bag. I propped up my phone on the steering wheel. I went on that Zoom and I was like, all right, y'all, here's this. Like, they didn't know the difference. They didn't know what I normally do versus what I did. They could see that I was in my car, which was interesting. But it's okay because that Zoom party ended up being like $800, y'all. So I had just left like a $500 party, which I was already excited about. I was like, well, that's great. So because I pivoted, instead of being like, I could have texted my hostess and said, sorry, I'm not home. I can't do it. Let's reschedule. No, I was like, how are we going to figure this out? We going to pull over, we going to hop on Zoom and we going to do this party. And then afterwards, I threw all my stuff in the passenger seat. I put the car in drive and I went home. So it is what it is. You have to be willing to solve problems. So, okay, a next habit of an overcomer is they take personal responsibility. Y'all, I this one is so big. I struggle. I have to pray to God for help with this one. Not that I don't have personal responsibilities, but that I don't yell at people who don't. And it's not just y'all, it's also my children, other people that I know that aren't in Mary Kay. But we live in a culture that loves blame. They love finding anything to blame for their circumstances other than themselves. And that's just the truth. And you know what? I'm leading women who don't place blame, who take personal responsibility. And in Mary Kay, we build women who take ownership. Now, I'm not saying it's your fault when something bad happens, but you get to choose to take responsibility. And you get to say when something happens, when obstacles come along, or when things don't go the way you want them to, you can say, all right, what can I learn? What is the lesson here? Or who can I help through this same situation later? So the overcomer says, there's a reason for this, not that you brought it on yourself, because now there's a huge difference from how I used to think versus how I think now. And how I used to think was probably the complainer. Life's not fair. Why does this always happen to me? Why, yeah, this is just my luck. Or when it comes to someone getting good results, oh, must be nice. That was definitely me before, and that's how I grew up. But now I'm like, okay, all right, so this is a struggle, but there is clearly going to be someone that God is going to put in my unit at some point that I'm going to need to lead through this same situation. I know that He didn't cause this issue, but He can turn it around and use it for good. So, are you looking for the good in everything? You cannot be powerful and pitiful at the same time. It's literally impossible. You can't. So, make that choice. Are you going to be powerful or are you going to be pitiful? So the third, I need like a better chair. It squeaks every time I move. The third habit of overcomers is that they guard their attitude like a paycheck. Do you guard your attitude like a paycheck? You guard your debit card, right? You guard your passwords, right? You don't let people see when you put your debit card PIN number in, right? You guard your purse, right? But do you guard your perspective? Do you guard your thoughts? Do you guard your mindset? Do you guard the words that come out of your mouth? So, gratitude is a great filter here. So, if you're not grateful, you'll start seeing everything wrong instead of everything right. So, I have a challenge for you for a week. And I've probably given you this challenge before, but I want you to actually do it because you can get on here week after week and hear what I say and then hop off and do literally nothing different. That's your choice. Again, but I want to challenge you for the next 7 days. So until our next Zoom, the next Tuesday, I want you to wake up and write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And right before bed, I want you to write 3 other things, different things that you're grateful for. It can be any 3 things in the morning, any 3 things at night. Because you can't be grateful. Like gratitude cannot exist with negativity. So you can't be grateful and negative at the same time. So why are you continuing to choose to be negative? How is that serving you? How is that serving other people? How is that serving the people around you? So let's wake up and share, not share, but put it on paper. You can share it if you want. Share it in the Voxer group if you want. We can have a gratitude train. 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning, 3 things at night. So, Mary Kay Ash, You know, she built this company with a husband who died literally right before she launched. She could have said, I can't do this. This was their thing. This was their project. Instead, she said, we're doing it anyway. And you and I are on this Zoom right now because of that resilience. That's resilience. Y'all, we were at seminar. I don't know if it was last year. Tiffany might be able to help me here. Kelly might be able to help me here. But our top 3 directors. So Lorinda King, a lot of y'all know who Lorinda King is. She stood on that stage as the #1 director and shared with us that that seminar year, 2 of her daughters died. So when you say life is hard and you assume that everybody's life is easier, it's actually like it's a very self-centered way to think. When you can open your eyes and look around you and realize that we are all going through it, but we get to do life together, it's going to help you get through it. And you're going to also be able to inspire others at the same time. So I want you to think about one obstacle that you've overcome recently. It could be a business obstacle, it could be personal. So think about any obstacle. Have you already, like, maybe you've thought of it already. So think about an obstacle that you overcame. What did it teach you about yourself, if anything? And if it didn't, then that's something that you want to examine too. But I would love for you to put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. No, Tiffany, what she did million because it wasn't the year she became a director. It was the year that she was standing on the stage because she said just that January she had lost one of her daughters. And she's been through so much loss, y'all. But we look at her and think like, oh, she has it all together. She's so, she's so outgoing, and we compare ourselves. But when you show up to events, those are the kind of stories that you hear. So that's why I recommend showing up to everything. And if you're not registered for fall advance and you want to go, y'all, it's not, I don't know. I know it's closed, but I could convince our national, we're #1. I can take someone else with me. So, so if you want to hop in the car and come with us this weekend, do it because it's going to be powerful. So, okay. Awesome. Getting financially stable enough to pay a week ahead in bills. Okay. So that's an obstacle. What has overcoming that obstacle taught you? Like, what have you learned or like gained through that overcoming that obstacle? So, we talk a lot about fasting, right? We as a group of believers, there's a group of us that in our unit that prayed and fasted the whole last 7 days of September. And I feel like that was really powerful. So we talk about fasting, we talk about prayer. I have a challenge for you that might be kind of hard. So for 7 days, I want you to fast from complaining and be aware. I want you, and this is like, y'all, we do it without even realizing it. Like if it's raining outside, oh, it's raining. No, that's complaining. And I'm not saying to be fake, y'all. I want you to hear my heart. I don't want you to be fake. I just want you to focus on the good. I want us to be gratitude focused. So every time something goes wrong, I want you to stop and say out loud, okay, how can I rise above this? And some things are little, like, oh, it's raining outside. Okay, no, like, there's no reason to complain about that. Zero reason whatsoever. But we complain about the littlest things, y'all. And we complain about things that other people pray for. There are people that pray for rain. There are people who pray for kids that bug them. There are people who pray for smartphones, and we're over here complaining about one little glitch in ours. There are people who pray to be employed, and we're complaining about our jobs. Like no complaining for 7 days. Just try it. Just try it. Who's up for the challenge? So, and here's the thing is we do not get stronger avoiding the hard. Y'all know that, right? Life being easy doesn't make us stronger. We get stronger walking through it. And I do want you to know that your director is walking through it too. But when life tries to knock me down, I'm not falling on my back. I'm landing on my knees because that's where the real power is surrender and prayer. So I want you to take these 2 challenges. Start your day with 3 things you're grateful for. End your day with 3 things you're grateful for. And fast from complaining for a week. And it's going to make you so aware of the thoughts that you have and what comes out of your mouth. It is going to be eye-opening. If you're willing to do it, you have to be willing to do it. So I'm going to take a picture. I always take a picture, so I'm putting us on gallery view. So I'm going to take a picture. So say cheese, and then we're going to do an affirmation together. Okay. All right. Oh, this is on selfie mode. Okay, say cheese. I love it. I love it, Amber. Okay, I took attendance. So even if people were on and now they're not, they are still on my list. I see we lost some people, but that's okay. So I did put this on YouTube and I'm going to email and share the link as soon as we hop off of here. But I do want to end with an affirmation. It's a very short one, and we'll just end a few minutes early. So unmute yourself. It's always super fun and chaotic. So, okay, we ready?
Yeah.
I am not defined by my problems.
I am
I'm
not
not
defined by my
problem.
problems.
I am refined by them.
I
I
am
am
refined
refined
by
by
them.
I don't shrink back.
I
I
don't
don't
shrink
shrink
back.
back.
I rise up.
I
I
rise
rise
up.
up.
I lead with faith.
I
I
lead with
lead with
faith.
faith.
I lead with focus.
I
I
lead
lead
with
with
focus.
focus.
And I lead with follow through.
And I
And
lead
I
with
lead
follow
with
through.
Yes. Short but powerful. You guys, I hope that this has blessed you in some way, shape, or form. But I just want you to know that you do have within you everything that you need to accomplish what God has deposited into your brain and into your heart. So you have what it takes. You are chosen. You are called. You are here for a reason. And I'm so grateful for every single one of you. So thank you for being on here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trusting me as your leader. I know I say that every week, but I really don't take it lightly. I thank God every day for trusting me with the women that y'all are amazing. And I am so grateful for that. So thank you for being here. I'm super excited for those of y'all going to Fall Advance. I will see y'all soon in a couple days. But if you have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, feel free to text me privately. If you have any prayer requests, text those to me too. So I spend Wednesdays completely with God. So I won't respond to you tomorrow, but if you text me tonight, I'll see it either way. But y'all have a great rest of your night. Thank you for being here, and I love you all. Bye.
Love you too.